Aseem, Shukla, go crazy. There we go.
Bring it down. Over the past couple of years, I have learned the virtues of federally controlled, mind-altering substances as a tool of diplomacy. This begins 2 years ago, or not 2 years, a long time ago, in high school, with my brother, who's a very smart guy, but who has a penchant for sort of needling authority and the sort of impish quality about him. And I could see that he was straining under the weight of our parents' Silicon Valley mandates to get good grades and all that sort of thing. And I saw him withdrawing inside himself and shunning our parents' attention. So I was appointed as an informal go-between between the parents and my brother, which should have been a great role for me as an older brother, except for the fact that I was a shit. I was a very self-absorbed and arrogant teenager. Most of the time that I was, tasked to talk to my brother, I just, ended up humiliating him. So it was great. So you can imagine that by the time he graduated high school, there was a lot of pent-up impishness inside him that was waiting to get out. And sure enough, as soon as he gets to college, he wastes no time in telling us all that he is now a regular consumer of marijuana. Now, my parents are Indian. And I say this not to state an ethnological fact, but to highlight the cultural prejudice that did not dispose them well to the thought of their son voluntarily coating his lungs with a substance that caused him to get B's. And I think they legitimately feared that there was a chance that if he continued to do this, he would end up, in some gutter in Reno as a meth addict. And so they put together a sort of campaign task force, which included some trusted family friends and, once again, me, to try to dissuade him from this path. This line of diplomacy once again failed because of me. This time because A, I knew that whatever influence I'd ever had with my brother I squandered years ago. But B, because I didn't really believe in the mission. I figured that as far as acts of rebellion go, smoking a little pot now and then is really not as bad as it gets. So nothing changed, and nobody talked about it. Until one day. He was home for a vacation. Our mom goes upstairs to clean his room or something. She opens the door, and there he is, on the verge of lighting up. So this occasions some conversation in our previously idyllic household, which ultimately results in my dad getting up and saying, son, you spend a lot of time and money on this marijuana thing. I want to try it. You, me, your mother, we will all do it. My mom, who went to Berkeley in the 70s, is sitting in the corner going, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And he says, no, we will all be high as a family. As this conversation is taking place, I'm in a movie theater here in the city. I get a text from my brother, and uncharacteristically, I decided to look at this text. It informed me of what was about to take place. I respond, I'm there. Leave this theater, and an hour later, I'm sitting in our backyard in Cupertino, watching my brother patiently instruct our mother how to light a piece. We all get high in our own little ways. My mom looks around with a vacant stare around the backyard, saying, wow, everything's wonderful. My family is so talented. My dad is like an evil psychologist. He's like, oh, he's reacting this way, but she's reacting that way. Isn't it amazing how different we are? I, in a moment of lucidity, pull out my phone and text every one of my college roommates, informing them, this is not a joke, this is not a drill, I am high with my parents. This episode ends. Life returns to normal. No debriefing. And yet, I sense that something has changed with my parents, especially with my mom. By the way, my parents are here today. If you... I don't know where you are, but if you could just raise your joints in the air, that would be great. I'm just kidding. I said that something had changed with my parents, especially with my mom. Although she, I think what she gained from this, other than an enthusiastic following among my roommates, was the sort of perspective, and even though she didn't enjoy the experience of getting high, I think she gained the perspective that it was possible to have weed as sort of part of your daily casual life without it necessarily having to ruin it. And I noticed that after this incident, my services as the world's shittiest diplomat were no longer much in demand. This is something I speculated. I didn't know for sure how things had shaken down. Then a couple of months ago, I was home. I went upstairs to talk to my brother, and he produced from the closet a box of weed brownies. And knowing that he did not have the technical know-how to produce these by himself, I asked him, "Where'd you get them?" At that moment, our mother walks into the room. She looks at the brownies, she looks up at me, she points to the brownies, and she says, "You know I have to do everything in this family." Thank you.